I'm about halfway into my Ironman 70.3 training. I have about 4 months left until the big day, but I've had a lot of questions in the comments of my YouTube videos and other socials asking things like, what do you actually do for a living? How much does YouTube pay? Am I going bald? Why have I stopped uploading Ironman training videos? And the big question, have I quit training for my Ironman 70.3? So let's get into it. First question, where do you live? So if you've seen any of my vlogs, you'll probably have noticed that my background, i.e. where I'm filming, might look like I'm living in a very developing country, and you'd be right. So I'm originally from the UK. I finished high school. I got a job stacking shelves at a supermarket on the night shift from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. And I remember this older guy in his 60s, and he'd been working at this supermarket, Tesco, if you were wondering, for more than 30 years. He didn't have a pension or money for retirement, so he was stuck there. And he was like, Mike, you're young. You don't have any responsibilities, no mortgage, no kids. What are you doing stacking shelves in a supermarket at 4 in the morning? And it kind of hit me. What am I doing? Long story short, I ended up quitting that supermarket job. I went to university, I graduated. I wanted to leave the UK for many reasons, one of which was because it's very wet, rainy, miserable, windy 6 months of the year. So I moved to Amsterdam, where it was also wet, rainy, miserable, windy 6 months of the year. I got a 9-to-5 job working in finance, and it was a good job. It paid well, my team were amazing, but it was a corporate job. So again, I just wasn't 100% happy. So I started a side hustle. So I was working my 9-to-5 corporate job, and then after work from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on weekdays and on weekends, I'd be working on this side hustle. The side hustle started earning money after about a year. So I quit my 9-to-5 and I went all in with the side business. I left Amsterdam. There was no reason to be there anymore. I went backpacking around Southeast Asia, living the kind of digital nomad life, if you like. And I ended up settling down here in Vietnam, where the weather is actually warm and sunny most of the time. Anyway, that was 12 years ago now, which is kind of showing my age. But one of the questions later on in the video is how old I am. So we'll come to that a bit later on. In my opinion, the best personal development hack there is, particularly for younger people like I was with no real responsibilities or things tying me down, leave your hometown, or maybe just move to another city, or maybe like I did, to a country when no one really speaks your language. It'll be tough, one of the hardest things you ever do. You'll face problem after problem after problem, and you'll be on your own. You'll have no support network, no one to fall back onto, but it's a beautiful place to be because you'll be facing those problems head on yourself. And what happens is you get really good at problem solving. Genuinely, to this day, leaving my home country 12 years ago and living abroad, one of the best decisions I've ever made. I could make a whole video on that, but let's leave it at that. And let's talk about, after quitting my corporate job, what am I doing now? This is not my first YouTube channel. I started YouTube back in 2016. I made a few different YouTube channels, all personal development related. My kind of overarching goal with all my channels and my businesses is to inspire as many people as possible around the world to live a healthier and happier life. It's really quite simple. And YouTube is my platform of choice. So 2 years ago, I co-founded a YouTube growth agency called Playstack, where we essentially help businesses grow on YouTube. And we work primarily with bigger businesses, so kind of high 6-figure, 7- and 8-figure businesses. And we have a team of scriptwriters, video editors, thumbnail designers, channel managers, and we essentially help businesses do 2 things. Number one, we help them increase their views on YouTube, because a lot of businesses have YouTube channels, but they have marketers running their channels for them. And it's like, you don't really want a general marketer running your YouTube channel for you. Ideally, you want a YouTuber running your YouTube channel for you. So that's exactly what we do. And secondly, we help those businesses turn those video views into actual sales and revenue. This wasn't supposed to be an ad, but if you are interested in what we do, maybe you have a YouTube channel that you need help with, you can visit playstack.co and book a call, and maybe we can have a chat and maybe I can help you. Like I say, this wasn't supposed to be an ad, but there you go. Anyway, another business I launched is Fit in 30, which is a system including a course and community to help people complete their 30-day fitness challenges. Whether it's run 5K every day for 30 days, or swim 10 laps every day, or yoga for 30 minutes every day, or 10,000 steps every day, whatever the 30-day challenge might be, I really do think in terms of staying motivated and staying consistent with your workouts, 30-day challenges are some of the most underrated, simplest fitness plans out there compared to more kind of traditional fitness plans. So we have an amazing community, courses, frameworks, accountability coaches, really to help people that are committed to prioritizing their health for the next 30 days. Again, this wasn't supposed to be an ad, but if you are interested, fitin30challenge.com, you can check it out. And that is what I do. Now let's get back to YouTube. How much does YouTube pay? So at the time of filming this video, I've been making videos on this channel for around 5 months. It took me 4 months of uploading before I actually reached YouTube's monetization requirements of 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch time hours. So I've been monetized for exactly 1 month. And in that 1 month, I've made a grand total of $32.38, so not a lot at all. Also, I don't actually edit my own videos or edit the thumbnails. I have a video editor and thumbnail designer for that. I started YouTube in 2016, and for many years I was editing my own videos and thumbnails. Now I don't do that. So there are a few other costs here and there as well, but on average, to make one of these videos, it costs about $200 per video to make. And at the time of filming this, I've currently got 8 videos on the channel, and I've spent $1,600 on this channel so far, but I've made $32. So that's a total loss of $1,568. So if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel because you want to be super rich, it's probably harder than it looks. I want to talk a bit about the business side of running a YouTube channel because I don't think it's really talked about much. Ironman videos do tend to pay quite well in terms of CPM, which stands for cost per mil, meaning advertisers on YouTube do pay on the higher side. The reason being that to compete in an Ironman, it says 3 things about you from an advertiser standpoint. So firstly, you're probably from a developed country. So my audience is primarily made up of people from the US, the UK and Germany, meaning probably you guys have more disposable income compared with viewers from developing countries, and so advertisers are willing to pay a bit more. Secondly, you're probably male. So 88% of my audience are male, 12% female, and most of you are aged between 25 and 44. So generally, the older your audience, the more disposable income and therefore the more purchasing power they have. Therefore, advertisers are willing to pay a little bit more compared with a YouTube channel aiming at, let's say, high school students, where most of those students of which probably don't have access to a debit card or a credit card, therefore have very little purchasing power. And thirdly, if you're watching this channel, you're probably interested in participating in an Ironman. Well, training for an Ironman is generally an expensive hobby. I didn't realize it to the extent that it was an expensive hobby until I actually started. So there's a financial barrier to entry to participating. An entry-level carbon bike, for example, is about $2,500. Even if you go secondhand, you still probably have to pay at least $500 for a bike. And then there's the ticket itself, which is a few $100s. Then travel, maybe hotels, maybe coaches, a Garmin watch, Garmin computer, it all adds up. Anyway, going off on a tangent, how much has YouTube paid me? 32 $1 bills, but YouTube is a marathon, not a sprint. So I believe there is a lot of potential, at least in terms of monetization with the channel in the future, because right now I'm making a $200 loss per video. The idea eventually is one day for advertisers to pay me so I have money to make these videos. I employ editors and thumbnail designers so they're happy. It contributes to the economy, and you, the viewer, get to watch videos without paying a single dime. So everyone wins. Next question is, how much do sponsors pay pay you. So I mentioned YouTube has paid me $32 in the last month, and I'm also an AliExpress affiliate. I made a video a short while ago titled 15 incredible cycling accessories from AliExpress, and I put affiliate links in the description so viewers can essentially find the products that I talk about. And of course, if you guys click the link and end up buying anything from AliExpress, I essentially get a small kickback, anywhere from 2 to 9% commission. So far, from AliExpress commission, from that video, I've made $272.52, which is not bad at all for one video. I mean, it covers the cost that I paid to have that video made, which is about $200, and then some, so I can't complain. In terms of sponsors, in simple terms, I don't have any. I might start looking into it, but honestly, I'm not too bothered about getting free products from companies at this stage, because at the end of the day, free products don't pay the bills. The next step would be getting paid cash to feature products similar to how bigger YouTube channels do, like Cade Media and GCN, but my channel is probably not big enough for that yet, so maybe in a few months or years, who knows? So the total entire revenue I've made from YouTube in the last 5 months of uploading videos on this channel, YouTube ad revenue plus affiliate commission, is $304.90. The total I've spent is $1,600. That's a total loss of $1,295.10. And that doesn't include the countless number of hours I've put into the channel. So I've taken quite a big hit financially by creating this channel, which is totally fine, by the way. I'm not complaining at all, because the upsides to running this channel significantly outweigh the downside. The channel does open up a lot of other opportunities. For example, training for my Ironman 70.3 and creating videos for this channel has helped me fundraise for a charity that I've been working with for the last year or so, because about a year ago, I adopted Ollie, who you might have seen. So this is Ollie, and he is very cute, as you can see. So I adopted Ollie about a year ago, and as I mentioned earlier, I do live in Vietnam, and animals are generally not treated well, to put it lightly. So just in Vietnam alone, an estimated 5 million dogs are slaughtered each year for the dog meat trade. Much of it is run by organized crimes, and dog theft is rampant. Pets are electrocuted and stolen, usually by 2 people on motorbikes. In fact, literally just this morning, someone in one of the Facebook groups I'm in had their corgi stolen. It was eventually found, held for ransom at one of the local dog meat markets, and the owner had to pay about $200 to get her dog back. And this happens on a daily basis, unfortunately. Ollie was one of the lucky ones. He was found roaming the streets, but he did have a very severe skin infection. He had very little fur left, and he was bleeding all over before being rescued by Laws for Paws Vietnam, a 100% volunteer-run organization in Vietnam that rescues, rehabilitates, and rehomes abandoned or abused dogs and other animals. Now, just 1 year later, he's had an incredible glow up, and his fur is looking healthy and shiny once again. And Ollie probably wouldn't be with us right now if it wasn't for Laws for Paws. And that's why on this channel, and also for my Ironman 70.3, I'm fundraising to help more dogs like Ollie get rescued from the streets and adopted. So if any of my videos have helped you in any way, shape or form, and if you're in a place where you're able to, any donations would be super appreciated. Really, I'd be forever grateful. I'll drop a link to my GoFundMe down below. Okay, onto a topic that is a little bit more lighthearted. How old are you? So I usually get people commenting that I look younger than my age. Whether that's true or whether people are just being polite, I do not know. It's hard for me to judge objectively whether I look younger or older than my age, because I see myself in the mirror every single morning. But let me tell you, I am 32 years old, and there are 2 things at play here. Firstly, in the UK where I'm from, it's fashionable or trendy right now for men my age to have stubble, or even in 2024, 2025, have a mustache. Apparently that's trendy now. The problem is, I'm half Asian. My mum is originally from Singapore, my dad is from the UK, so I can't grow a full, thick facial hair, even if I wanted to, so I do fully shave every morning because I don't really have much choice, which probably makes me look younger. Genetics, at the end of the day, not much you can do about them. Speaking of genetics, I got another question Are you going bald? So as a guy in my early 30s, this is something that I occasionally think about, and being on camera so often is something that I notice a little bit more. So my dad still has a full head of hair and he's in his late 60s, and both my grandfathers had mostly a full head of hair when they both died a while ago now. So genetically, I shouldn't be going bald anytime soon. However, my hairline, maybe you can see this, isn't completely straight. It does go back on the sides. I think maybe it was always like this, even in my early 20s, but I honestly don't remember. Maybe it's very slightly receding as I'm getting older, but if it is, it's only very slightly. Either way, I'm not going to go completely bald anytime soon. And again, it's about genetics, not much I could do either way. A hair transplant maybe, but whatever, I'm not too fussed. Training for my Ironman, weirdly, has made me think about genetics more in the last 6 months than I probably have my entire life, which kind of leads me on to the next question. How much of an athlete's Ironman performance can be attributed to training versus genetics? So we're all born with a different hand of cards. One of my kind of genetics cards was not to be a bodybuilder. I can train the right way, I can eat the perfect diet, I can take the supplements. I'm never going to be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm just not genetically built that way. It's like a 20-year-old who's 5 foot tall. It doesn't matter how good he is at basketball or how hard he trains or how talented he is. He's 5 foot. He's never going to be good enough to play in the NBA. So to compete competitively in the Ironman World Championship, it is, in my opinion, partly genetics. That's not to take away from the dedication, the sheer force of will that drives athletes to push their bodies through thousands of training hours, through pain and exhaustion, through doubts and setbacks, but they do need favourable genetics too, in my opinion. So a few weeks ago, I was talking to a business friend who's the CEO of one of the biggest law firms in Australia, and he told me a story that really stuck with me. So he said he was talking to his wife about a family member, and his wife said he's not going to make much of a career out of himself, but he's a damn good father to his kids. And my friend was like, you know what, that's actually something to be proud of, because it's not easy being a really good father to your kids. And that stuck with me, that whatever you're naturally good at, lean into it. One of my genetic cards, I would say, is I love entrepreneurship, I love content creation, and so it's my job to really kind of lean into that, meaning doing the things that I find easy, but most other people find difficult. So for me, it's YouTube. I love YouTube, and I love how I can inspire thousands of people with literally just one video. But everyone has their own natural talents and gifts, so I feel life is about finding those things that you're naturally gifted at and grabbing the bull by the horns and just running with it. And the next question, if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice for Ironman training, what would it be? So this is so easy. I gave myself 10 months to train for my 70.3, which is plenty of time. But in the first 3 months, I was just going all out with my training. The problem here is that my brain is just like, I want to train and train and train and train. And I signed up for a half marathon and then a full marathon. That's just how my mind works. If I commit to something, I'm going all out with that thing. But the inevitable happened, where my body couldn't keep up and I ended up getting a knee injury. It wasn't nothing serious, but it stops me from running. So during the half marathon, you can see my Strava stats. My times were okay up until about the 13th kilometer, and then I started getting a sharp pain in my knee. And as every kilometer that went by, the pain was just getting worse and worse and worse until the 20th kilometer, I was in agony. I mean, it was bad. Long story short, I did go to the physio. Like I said, it was nothing too serious, just some inflammation. I did miss the full marathon, unfortunately, which was supposed to be about 3 weeks after the half marathon. But the one biggest thing I learned from all of this, Ironman is all about keeping injury at bay for as long as possible, because if anything's going to stop you from not being ready on the day of the event, it's probably going to be an injury. So now I really optimize my training for injury prevention, and I have calmed down with my training quite a bit. How do you find time in the day to train? So for me, it's all about prioritization. It's not that you don't have time to train for an Ironman, it's that you don't prioritize training for an Ironman. And that's why you feel you don't have time. And by the way, I think that it's okay if you don't prioritize Ironman training or you don't have time. Maybe you are coming home from your 9 to 5, you're exhausted, you spend 2 hours playing with your kids, and then you go to bed, in which case, fair enough. But on the other hand, maybe you're coming home from your 9 to 5, you're sitting on your sofa, you're binge watching Netflix for the rest of the night, and if you're doing that and you're saying you don't have time to train for an Ironman while watching Netflix 4 hours a day, then maybe, just maybe, it's time to think about reprioritizing how you spend your 24 hours. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's not for me to say. If you're happy and you feel generally fulfilled in life, spending time chilling out in front of Netflix every day, then more power to you. But bringing it back to the question, how do I find time to train every day? Simple. I prioritize it and I protect my 2-hour Ironman training window like I do a doctor's appointment, right? You wouldn't just not turn up to a doctor's appointment because you don't feel like it, right? Or you wouldn't allow someone to book a meeting over your doctor's appointment. Same with training. Now, some of you have noticed that I've decreased the number of specific Ironman training videos on my channel. So the next question is, have you given up on Ironman? You don't post many videos anymore. And the short answer is, no, I haven't. I'm still training for my 70.3 and I'll no doubt be training for my full Ironman after that. I have diversified what videos I make now though. Sometimes I upload 30-day challenge videos, sometimes I upload cycling videos, and sometimes I upload Ironman training videos. Ironman training is still the main overarching theme of the channel, but the reason why I've diversified what videos I make is because this YouTube channel, just like training for an Ironman, it's a marathon, not a sprint. If any of you have ran a YouTube channel for any period of time, you know how easy it is to burn out if you're making the same type of videos every week for years. It's also why I don't have a really strict upload schedule. Sometimes I'll post 4 videos a month and sometimes I'll upload 1 video a month. As soon as you have that kind of strict schedule, YouTube turns into a treadmill, and that is not good for creativity. Burnout is a real thing, and that sucks for everyone involved. For me as the creator, because I'm the one burning out, and it sucks for you, the viewer, because the content just loses creativity, and you can just see in the creator that they've lost passion for the videos. So this isn't my first rodeo. I've been on YouTube since 2016. I know how it works. Diversification for my sanity is important. Next question is, how much have you spent on Ironman so far? So I was watching another YouTube video on the Ashton Trains channel, and he made a video titled how much dollars I've spent on Ironman prep so far. And the first comment was, I know you did it for your channel, but a lesson I learned getting into Tri is don't track how much you spend. Just blindly purchase so you don't get sad. Which was funny. Very bad money management advice, but also kind of true. I didn't actually realize how much I had spent on training for my Ironman until I actually wrote down every single thing I had bought on an Excel spreadsheet, and I made a video on it, and the final amount, I mean, I knew it was going to be expensive, but it did surprise me when I saw that total amount staring back at me. Anyway, that's a full video in of itself, which I uploaded recently. You can click right here to watch that. Alternatively, I have a playlist where you can watch all my Ironman training videos back to back, starting with day 1, and you can click right there to watch that playlist.